Is Bitcoin a scam? Is Bitcoin a scam or the most honest money humans have ever had? Your neighbor says it's not real, your family says it's a Ponzi, and according to your financial advisor, it has no use case. But it keeps increasing in value and spreading around the world. If you've heard these warnings but can't ignore Bitcoin's growing value and its ability to convert enemies into fans, then you'll dig this video. Hello, I'm Pasco from Bitcoin Minded, and today we're busting those myths with facts and a reality check. Let's start with a simple description. At the most basic level, Bitcoin is software. It's written computer code. It's open to anybody who wants to read and check the code, install it on their computer, and play with it however they wish. It's just a system that people can choose to participate in or not. Did you know that nobody can use Bitcoin differently than you or me? Nobody has special privileges in Bitcoin. So let me call out that first claim as wrong. Bitcoin is not a scam. It is computer code published by Satoshi Nakamoto, open to anybody to see, check, and use. He wrote a paper describing Bitcoin, also available for anybody to read. I've linked it for you below. In the paper, he describes how the software allows for an electronic money that can be exchanged between two people without help from another person, company, or government. This sounds so simple that it may not even register with you as anything important or interesting. But look deeper. Before Bitcoin was created, we had almost completely lost the ability to transact without the help of any company or government. Every transaction that you or I make with our debit card, our credit card, your bank, or with an app like Cash App, all of these methods require and force us to rely on the help of somebody else. They all have a middleman. This dependency is a modern shift. For thousands of years before, people transacted peer to peer without the middleman. Over the last 100 years, though, a very different world has developed. And many are worried about this development in our society and what it means for us and our future generations. Some worry reliance on a company or government to use our money leads to too much surveillance and too much control, causing us to lose our freedoms and our rights over time, things like privacy. This concern motivated Satoshi to make the Bitcoin network. He wanted to create an electronic cash that again allowed us to transact with one another, but this time from anywhere in the world, digitally and instantly. And he hoped it could be used in a way that was incorruptible by governments. That's a noble goal. That's not a scam. Attempting to help people transact independently is respectful. There are other important areas of our lives that we encourage independence, and we don't call those a scam. Why shouldn't people learn to transact on their own without always needing the help of a government or company? What do you think? I mean, Bitcoin is fair, transparent software that gives people the chance to transact with one another. This is a good thing. So maybe you say, hey, but Pasco, what about it being some sketchy or unsafe kind of thing? Well, it's neither. In fact, I can confidently tell you that it's one of the safest digital tools ever created. Did you know that the Bitcoin network has never been hacked? Never. It has never been cheated or stolen from. Did you know that? There is no government or company that can claim that same thing. Banks get robbed and lose customers' private information in data breaches. Governments play favoritism as politicians make policies and laws that benefit themselves or their buddies while hurting us. And governments cause painful inflation by printing money without our consent. The same money that they force us citizens to use and work for every day.
We as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally, and we do that.
If you look at these differences objectively, it seems fair to say that Bitcoin is actually the least sketchy, least dangerous, least scammy money available. What do you think? I understand maybe you've heard people losing their Bitcoin on an exchange like FTX or being scammed into sending it to a con man and then losing it forever. Maybe you've heard of somebody losing a USB drive that stored their Bitcoin keys. But these aren't examples of Bitcoin being unsafe. They're examples of human error or misplaced trust. If someone crashes a car driving recklessly, we don't blame the car. If somebody tells a bad guy where they live, invites them in, then gets robbed, well, we don't think that homes are sketchy. Bitcoin is similar. It has never failed at its intended goal. We just have to learn how to use it properly. But what about your neighbor who tells you, oh, it's a Ponzi? Well, your neighbor is probably just repeating something that they've heard somebody else say.
Like Bitcoin. They are decentralized Ponzi schemes.
People who claim Bitcoin is a Ponzi should really reconsider their claim here. Here's the definition of Ponzi by Oxford Languages. A form of fraud in which belief in the success of a non existent enterprise is fostered by the payment of quick returns to the first investors from money invested by the later investors. This doesn't describe Bitcoin. First, Bitcoin isn't a non existent enterprise, it is software that people around the world freely decide to use. There are trillions of dollars worth of examples of the Bitcoin network existing in both the digital space and the physical space. Bitcoin also doesn't pay people or mislead investors. Pricing is the result of millions of people around the world transacting on their own terms. The rules of Bitcoin are transparent, anybody can check them. Eggs have a market price, Rolex watches have a market price. Their prices go up and down, just like Bitcoin. But I don't hear people claiming that they're Ponzi schemes. And did you see that word fraud in the definition there of Ponzi? Bitcoin isn't fraudulent. Remember, every line of code, every rule, and operating procedure is available for you to read. There's no deception going on. There's not a team or an organization controlling Bitcoin that is being dishonest. Most of the world still doesn't even understand Bitcoin, so the market is still trying to figure out the correct price for it. Next time you hear somebody tell you that Bitcoin is a Ponzi, ask them to elaborate on why they think so. And I bet you'll quickly hear a bunch of untrue word salad come out of their mouths as they try to convince you of why it is. And finally, how about financial advisors telling you to stay away from Bitcoin? Is that happening to you? Do you use an advisor? Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that nearly all financial advisors are completely ill equipped to help you with Bitcoin. Most are late and too often unwilling to learn Bitcoin, even though it's important for their clients. They don't understand the Bitcoin network and they are way behind. They get told by their bosses on how to steer those conversations with you back to the types of products that they are allowed to sell, rather than actually help you learn and decide if Bitcoin is going to be a good thing or a bad thing for you. Bitcoin Minded has spent a lot of time in the field learning this unfortunate truth. Think about how silly this is. If you look at Bitcoin like an asset, as a financial advisor might, it has been one of the greatest performing assets of all time. And yet, financial advisors remain largely uninterested and incapable of helping you out with it. We've got a lot of work to do to educate financial advisors, but we are doing our best by helping open minded and passionate advisors get up to speed quickly on Bitcoin with a customized course for them. As head of education here in the US, I've run into a few advisors with a high level of integrity who are putting in the necessary work to help their clients with Bitcoin. So I'm optimistic that good advisors will catch up. If you use a financial advisor, have you asked them if they can help you with Bitcoin? What did they tell you? What did they say? At Bitcoin Minded, we prioritize teaching you to use Bitcoin yourself, holding it in self custody. Our courses help individuals, families, and businesses do just that. It's how you'll gain the greatest amount of freedom, privacy, and protection with Bitcoin. But we realize that fully going at it on your own, it's not for everyone. Some prefer a bit more help, and for those, finding the right financial advisor is imperative. I've linked one of my favorites down below. He's a trustworthy, caring guy who is helping clients with great service. Check him out if you'd like. Hopefully, this video has helped clear some things up and started you on your way towards getting deeper and learning more about Bitcoin. Learning to benefit from Bitcoin fully, it's not a quick and an easy process, but it is worthwhile. So, next time you hear negative remarks from a friend or a neighbor or your financial advisor about Bitcoin, ask them to explain. Then go check the facts. I'm willing to bet that as you learn more, you'll be like a lot of Bitcoiners and find that using Bitcoin is the best chance that we have at a safer, more prosperous future for ourselves and those we love. I've linked you to some sources of learning that I trust below. Check them out. Or if you're ready to learn Bitcoin in a fun way now, then put yourself on the Bitcoin Minded waitlist for the course. It's linked below. The course fits busy lifestyles and can be done at your own pace. More spots will open soon, and putting yourself on the waitlist, it doesn't commit you to taking the course, but it does let us know that you're interested in learning more. We'll make sure that you're one of the first to hear when our next spots open up.